Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back again for a new installment. So today we're going to be detouring a little, right? As we know, this channel is mostly based on Bible studies and the symbolism of it. But the reality is that it's not actually just about the Bible. So the Bible is just a vehicle that I learned my entire life learning and trying to understand its significance in my life and use it as a vehicle to my success. And my goal in life, my success, was to know who I am. What is it that I'm here to do? Right. So I'm saying this because the energy has been feeling very, very weird for the past few weeks. We've heard about Mercury retrograde and all those stuff, right? And those are things I think are very relevant to this topic, but I won't be going too much into that, right? I'm not as astrologically inclined as most people, but I have been more open to esoteric beliefs. This being said, the energy being vibey and very like depressy and stuff like that, I had to question what was going on, and it came to my attention that there's actually an awakening happening. And this awakening was weird for me because I'm like, wait, but I already woke up. What's going on? And is that I'm actually going through a second awakening. And I'll actually explain the second awakening in my next video. Today I'm going to be concentrating about the first awakening, because ultimately this channel is for me to share my experience that can help someone in their position to be able to succeed to their goal, right? I don't have this channel because I woke up one day, I'm like, I want to be famous, or I want to do this and that. I'm here because of Divine. When Divine says, girl, you done, baby, I will be done. I no longer do things on my own account, right? But that being said, right? Yeah, just fixing my bum. Yeah, that being said, I'm gonna be focusing on the first awakening, and I think way more people now will be experiencing that awakening. Please trust and believe. We are all a collective. Yeah, one person may win the first race quicker than another, but it has nothing to do with I won first. I came here first, so you must listen to me. It has nothing to do with that. We all here are a collective. We go through similar experiences, and we know, if you've awakened, it's the hardest shit you will ever do in your entire life. You lose yourself in awakening. And that self is the ego that we built for so long through our social norms, through our cultural beliefs, through our religious beliefs, and our family dynamics. Right. So you have to tear that down because, mind you, if you can remember growing up, when your mom said, yo, when you're done eating, you take your plate to the basin. No, to the kitchen sink. The basin is the one in the bathroom. To the kitchen sink, right? You never questioned it. It was rule and thumb and was done. So now we're at a time where we have grown now. So we question things like, why was this said? Why was this deemed to be right? For me, it can be right on all planes in a normal situation, but it can be wrong for you as the individual. Therefore, you have to know yourself to actually know what you truly want. So the first awakening is not always like, oh, I was a church person, or I was always against God and then I woke up to the truth. It's not necessarily like that for all of us. Some people just awaken to the reality of their outside world, like the food that we eat, the government and the policies that are brought forward. And especially people who understand history see this phenomenon of history repeating itself, right? So you awaken to that element of life, and it helps you to change your beliefs and what you understand about your life. And in turn, bring it to a place where your actions also change. Because before we act, we first think. After we think it, we then have the desire to fulfill that thinking. And after the desire has been met in the heart, then we use actions to bring it to life. So the first awakening is that waking up to the truth. Why was me taking the plate to the kitchen sink the right thing to do? And when I have my house, will that rule still stand? I know my example is very simple, but this can become a question for every single thing you learned in life, and tell yourself and share with your friends and your family that this is the norm. You know, we like this thing. This is how we do it. Spiritual awakening throws that shit out the window. And mind you, I cuss, hey? Mind you, so we just throw that things out the window. Right, and I'll be sharing my first awakening, which was last year, and it was my tipping point. And diving into this new life was a humiliation ritual. So, well, I grew up very good at two shoes, do what I have to do what I'm told to do, high marks. If you get high marks and concentrate on education, everything will go right for you. And now I find myself, I'm like, girl, not a lot of things went right for me. So that is also what got me to this place, because the humiliation ritual was about how I see myself in society, and in turn how I portray society sees me, i.e. people pleaser. So when my image was shattered in the nations, it kind of hurt my ego, because I'm like, but I don't do those types of things. And then it was like, but if you did it, that means you do those types of things. What does that say about you? That's when I dived into where my mindset is, where my awareness actually lies. And that's the depth of spiritual awakening, is the lie that you have been telling yourself that is true. And that comes off by ego, that I feed this machine and this machine gives me satisfaction. But we're aware that satisfaction doesn't last for long, right? So I'm like, I actually want to be genuinely happy. I want peace. I want genuine love. That's why you get to a point you're like, oh my, you can't even be like angry at people who like deceive you and betray you and do all these ugly things, because you're like, for them to be able to do that, they're not that powerful. For them to be able to do that, I did that to myself first, opening the door for them. You wonder, why am I in an abusive relationship? And you like, you go back and like, my mom was abused too. I'm also in an abusive relationship. What is it supposed to tell you? That there's something you have to heal inside of you that does not open the door to a sociopath who, by the way, can smell you from afar, baby. They'll be like, there's my next victim. Right, that's the first one. The other ones can be multiple. I'll be sharing mine. My other one was authority, because I have this weird relationship with authority. Obviously, because of my rape experience, right? It has that authority. I'm the leader and you have to follow without a choice. And I don't care about politics and stuff like that. The government has been lying to us from the beginning. Always knew that, even when I was a child. So I don't have any pain there. The pain came from church, where I was like, wait a minute. They told me if I believe in God and do what God says and not try to sin and do everything not to sin, everything will be all right. How are things not right? And that's why, and I say it in many videos, that's why I'm mourning the church, because I've come to the notion that this is a quote by B, church is a business. You provide a service, baby, which is to uplift my faith, to come to a funeral when I call you for it, if I have a wedding, to officiate it. But here's what I do in return. I pay you back for that. When I go to Woolworths, and then I want to buy ice cream, the Woolworths manager can't be like, baby, the ice cream comes with the coffee and you don't have a choice. No, it's my money. I do what I want to do with it. Then we got told at church, like, if you don't like how we do this, go to another church, baby. the awkwardness